Who are you?
I'm Carlos Wiebach. I've been Mexican amber dealer for over 30 years. Quite knowledgeable in the amber business. So I collect, create, and manufacture amber pieces in different forms.
Who was Pedro Michel?
Pedro is a Mexican national born in Guadalajara, Mexico, who spent a lot of years in Chiapas, Mexico, carving. He's a well-known sculptor down there and collected by many collectors have pieces from him. He carved mostly in amber, in Mexican Chiapas amber, for, I don't know, maybe he started carving 40 years ago. Moved to Simojovel, the amber mine, lived there for maybe a decade collecting amber specimens and carving pieces. Then he started coming here to Tucson, where he would bring amber carvings and trade with gem dealers with other stones. He would then take those stones, carve them, and bring it back to Tucson and trade for more stones from the same miners he got them from. Discovered Bali, moved to Bali, and started a carving workshop down there and taught or worked with many of the local artists there to help them manifest many of the carvings. Then he would come to Tucson and collect from many dealers here specialty gems and take him back to his workshop in Bali where he was living and bring him back finished. He then married a woman from Japan and had a gallery in Tokyo where he sold a lot of his finished works. All his pieces were usually conceived by him, drawn by him, and then they were sculpted by him or some of his apprentices. He got very well known later in his life by many of the people in the industry here who remember him. And unfortunately, 2 years ago, he had an accident where he passed away. We believe it was a heart attack, and passed on his many carvings that many collectors still have in their collections, where you'll be able to find his pieces. His name is quite known among the collectors. That's Pedro.
How did you know Pedro?
Pedro, I met him in San Cristobal, living there, and he was painting murals there, so I met him through the amber business, which I've been in for the last 30 years, if not longer. And I remember him carving back then and talking about amber, and we had a very common interest, in the manufacture of amber jewelry and sculpture. So I met him in San Cristobal at the art fairs there, at the markets there.
How much did his pieces normally retail for, from when he first started to later in life?
That's hard to say. I mean, his pieces have known have been sold for thousands of dollars, 30, 40, 50,000. Some of his larger pieces. For me, he did a large dragon once. I sold it for $6,000 maybe.
What distinguishes his style?
His style is basically a lot of Mayan themes. His early work is all Mayan carvings, like Mayan shamans or native themes from the Maya culture, which is where the amber comes from. And his later work is more Asian themes, more dragons, more Guanjing, more anything. He would octopus, ship, sea life, you name it. You know, but yeah, his later work is a lot more varied. His early work is more traditional Mexican, pre-Columbian style. Yeah, this is one of his pieces. Came out of his workshop in Bali.
Rotated around. What age is that? When would that have been made?
This, my guess, this was made maybe 8 years ago, 6 to 8 years ago.
So that's after his Japanese endeavors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'd find most of his finer work is probably in Tokyo, Japan, among collectors there.
Was there any particular style of rough amber that he liked to work with, or how did he pick the stuff he worked with? Did he choose pieces that had bugs in it or no bugs?
No, it had more to do with clarity. He preferred to work with AA, AAA, or rare colors like red amber carvings, or more. Yeah, he loved the red amber with the green-blue iridescence, or very clear amber pieces that were considered AAA quality. You know, he's very quality conscious in his amber work. There are a lot of other carvings in other gems as well, tourmalines, a lot of moldavite pieces he made. Aquamarines, large aquamarines, quartz. Yeah, it's quite a collection he's left behind. Definitely. The people that know will know his hand, who he was.